Well, another Monday is here, and it's been a typical Monday. Understaffed, overworked, the usual corporate malarkey. But it doesn't matter because I start vacation here tomorrow. And I'm going to enjoy it again. I'm going on another week-long camping trip, actually, with a couple of my lifelong buddies. We're going to go camping, hunting, up in a big state forest or national forest. I might do a video on it. I might not. I don't know. So, anyways, my Natchez Trace Journey videos ended yesterday on Sunday. That one came out. So if you're interested, it's up, ready to be viewed. Turned out to be a pretty good trip. In total, it was about 7 days out there on the Natchez Trace over the course of 2 trips. A trip in May and this trip that was here in October for various reasons. Why I separated it out. But anyways, didn't realize it, but I'm running out of postcards or running out of mail to open. This is the last 4 I have right now. With me being out for a week, out on the road, and saving up for that trip and saving up for this trip coming up, and Christmas, and a Christmas trip coming up, and then a water heater bust and ruining half the flooring in my house. I haven't been spending anything on postcards. But anyways, I have 4 here for us this week. And I don't know what's in them, so let's find out. So this first envelope comes to me from Plymouth, Wisconsin. And it looks like it's a suburb of Milwaukee, and I know exactly where that's at. My grandmother and my uncle and my grandfather lived in a little suburb outside of Milwaukee. And I was there last spring, for my grandmother's funeral. Got to see a bunch of family I haven't seen in quite a while. Unfortunately, I live in the south, and a lot of my family lives up north, so I don't get to see them nearly as much as I'd like to. But anyways, let's see what we got in here. All right, this is the, is it going to focus? There we go. This is the Incline Railway in Chattanooga, Tennessee. If you don't know, it's one of my favorite roadside attractions so far. Not much is said on this card about it. It just says it's the Incline Railway on way to Lookout Mountain, Tennessee. It's right here at the upper station. Excuse me. The yellow cars are from the 60s and 70s, if I'm not mistaken. 70s to 80s. I think it's 70s to 80s. Didn't have this one. I have quite a few postcards with this view, with the train coming up to the station here, but not one of this time frame. So it is not postmarked. So like I said, I'm guessing 60s to 70s in that time frame. But it's just one of the ones that I had to go ahead and add to the collection. Seeing I didn't have it, and I probably got a pretty decent deal on it, so it's going to go nicely with my collection. I have a very vast collection of these postcards of this subject matter, so maybe I'll do a video on it one day and let you see how vast it really is. So this next one comes to me from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, which is quite interesting because I was actually in Muscle Shoals, Alabama here when I ended my Natchez Trace journey. I spent the night in Nashville and did a couple things, and then the next morning I got up, did some more stuff in Nashville, and then actually headed down to Muscle Shoals to do some things. I was going to go to Muscle Shoals when I was on my trip on the Natchez Trace, because it's fairly close to the trace. It's maybe 10-15 minutes away from the trace. But if I would have done that, it would put me in Nashville on a Saturday, and the hotel rooms in Nashville on that Saturday were exponentially higher, almost double. Well, not double, but pretty close. And then Sunday would be even more because of football game and hockey game and college football games and college homecoming. So roundabout, I just moved it around. So I hit Muscle Shoals on the way home from Nashville. And some of those videos will be out here shortly, let's just say, within a week or so. Anyways, back to the cards here. What we have here is the USS Alabama that is located in Mobile, Alabama, on the Mobile Bay. Now, This is still here, but this area here, from that side all the way over, has changed. This is a big, lack of better terms, aircraft hangar, where they actually have aircraft out there, more than just these one or two you see out here. They have, probably 20 or 30, I'm guessing, in this big building. Now, another thing is, this is the USS Drum. Now, I have videos on both of these, both the USS Alabama and the USS Drum, from when my daughter and I went and visited here not too long ago. We try to go out there once every year, sometimes every 2 years. Some things change on it, some things doesn't. So it's just cool to go out there and just walk around and see how the old boat was, old ship was. But anyways, the USS Drum is a submarine, and it is now located kind of right here. It is actually on land. They pulled it up out of the water and set it up on a big cradle to kind of preserve it, because the water was eating it up. And actually now the USS Alabama has a caisson wall wrapped all the way around it, so if they have to go down there and work on the hull, they can pump that water out, that sort of thing. At one time, it was actually sitting in mud where it wouldn't even be able to be moved anymore. So I'm not sure if that's true anymore or not. But anyways, this road you see right here in the background, this bridge is different now. It was replaced probably in the 70s or 80s. This card is from 1972. My camera's not wanting to focus. There we go, 72. Kind of read their little story there of how what they did in their vacation. That's why I bought this card. Besides the subject matter, is the time frame or the date stamp on it, and has a little bit of history about it, what they did, what the people did. Back to the road. That's Highway 90, and now out here just north of that. Man, my camera's not focusing. There we go. Just north of that is I-10, and then there's a tunnel. Two tunnels out here, actually, one for Highway 90, one for I-10, and they're actually fixing to put another causeway out there. I'm not sure how far it's going to go, but it's going to get rid of the tunnel that goes for I-10, because it's a bottleneck and a nightmare. And if you've ever been out there during the summer and springtime on a Friday or Saturday or even Sunday evening, you know exactly what I mean. So yeah, anyways, like I said, just interesting how this, I look at the Battleship Parkway of how this used to look back in the 70s versus how it looks today, and cool little history story to it. So that's why I grabbed this one. And this small envelope here comes to me from North Haven, Connecticut. I've heard of North Haven. It may not be the North Haven I'm thinking of. I don't know. We're just going to tear into this one because it seems to be pretty well protected here. I like when they do a little extra. I mean, it took them 5 minutes to make that, if even that. I don't mind paying extra for stuff. Okay, so here we go again with the, oh, excuse me. Had a brain lapse. Incline Mountain, no, wow. Lookout Mountain Incline Railway. I'll get it right one day. The same view as it was before, and the same train. No, it's not the same train. This is the number 1 train, and that was the number 2 train. And you can kind of see the different views of the upper station, whereas this one is off to the left and this is off to the right looking down. If you notice that little platform right there, at one time the people that lived on this mountainside used it for traveling back and forth from the town below, and they could put their groceries and things like that. At one time, I think they used it to, one of the original trains used it to bring up coal to the top station, where it would power a steam engine that actually pulled the car up the mountain. So anyways, I don't think those are on there anymore on the new trains. If it is, it's not as big. It's not used anymore like that, so it's not needed. But anyways, just another one of the additions to the collection of the Lookout Mountain Incline Railway. And the last envelope for today's Mailbag Monday comes to me from Houston, Texas. I know where Houston, Texas is. My good buddy moved to Houston, Texas this spring. And I'll actually get to see him in a couple of days when we go on our camping trip. Let's go ahead and tear into this one as well, because it seems to be very well protected. And they got a nice little thank you note. Let's see if I can get this without cutting my finger open and going to the hospital. Haven't been to the hospital in a while. That's a good sign. Okay, so back to Mobile, Alabama. This is a view of the downtown area. Now, when I was talking about the tunnels with the ship here, you have Highway 90 right here. Okay, well that tunnel is, let me see if I can find it here, right there. If you can see, let me get my camera to focus here, right there where that road comes around, it comes down there, and it comes up right there, that little dark spot in the center of the screen there by my finger. That is where the Highway 90 tunnel comes up. That is the Bankhead Tunnel. And then you have I-10 right here, and it loops down and goes in there and comes out, and it kind of makes a turn that way. This is where it starts being a bottleneck, because you have to slow down like 40 miles an hour to get down this turn. The highway, or the interstate I should say, was built way after the city was established. So it was kind of just forced into where it could fit, that sort of thing. The area they could buy the properties for, that sort of thing. So you figure interstate traffic going, 60 to 70 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you got to drop down to 40, and on a good Friday afternoon, it'll be backed up for at least a mile or two. Some people don't know how to go for a tunnel, and they think they have to ride the brakes going down under the tunnel or in the tunnel. I don't understand it. I literally don't understand it. Anyways, a couple years ago, they tried to alleviate some of the pressure off the tunnel, and they closed off this on-ramp right here that loops around. So you come out downtown, you can loop around. This is Water Street, and it will loop around, and you could get on I-10 there and head east. Well, that was causing lots of accidents because people were cutting in front of people and not merging properly, and people can't drive. So they cut off that whole on-ramp. I want to say the new bridge they're planning is going to kind of come this way, because the interstate does this number. It makes like an S turn. So they're going to kind of straighten out that S turn and go that way. But anyways, you have some of the state docks and things like that, some of the hotels. I think I have a postcard for that hotel there, if I'm not mistaken. And there was another hotel in this area, if I can't find it. I'm trying to think. Might be a little bit back here. I have a couple of postcards from those hotels from when they were popular back in the 70s and 80s in their heydays. But anyway, it's just a kind of interesting postcard that you don't see a whole lot of. It doesn't have a date on it. Mobile, Alabama, aerial panorama of historic Mobile, the port of Mobile, and Fort Condé. Fort Condé is right there. It is a recreation of the fort that was there back in the day. And then you have the Mobile History Museum that my daughter and I went to. We've actually been to both of these at the same time, the same day. Pretty interesting little history trip. Yeah. And another thing, believe it or not, this is the area where Mardi Gras started. Mardi Gras didn't start in New Orleans. It started right here in Mobile, Alabama. Well, there's not much variety on this week's Mailbag Monday. That's just the luck of the draw. 2 postcards of the Incline Railway and 2 postcards of Mobile, Alabama. But they're all both from probably the 60s to 70s time frame. So kind of interesting how it panned out that way. This is the end of the random drawings of the postcards when I had a whole bunch of them. I was just randomly drawing them out, and this was what was left over. Once I get back from my hunting trip and things like that, I'll probably get a couple more postcards. So the Mailbag Mondays might take a little hiatus. It could be a couple weeks, possibly a month. It just depends upon finances and everything like that. So like I said, all my trips I got coming up and repairs on the house I have to do, it's going to be kind of costly. So all my frivolous stuff is gone to the wayside for a little bit. But anyways, if you've ever been to the USS Alabama or even been through Mobile and you've had to deal with those tunnels, if you ever ridden on the Incline Railway, let me know in the comments below. But anyways, like always, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time.